Hi YouTube! So I wanted to do a video of this Salt New York palette, and I know that when I was buying it I watched literally every YouTube video out there, so I wanted to do one for oily skin girlies like me. I just didn't see a lot of oily skin content for this, and I wanted to share my experiences, my personal thoughts on how I like this. Now, I'm not a professional beauty YouTuber, so it's just going to be my kind of personal opinion on this product and how I liked it. All right, let's get started. So I'm gonna talk first about the packaging, second about the general thoughts on the product and how I apply it, and third on how does it last for oily skin. Let's jump in. All right, first in terms of the packaging, I think this packaging is beautiful. It's just so classy, it's so sturdy. The zipper works really well. They didn't skimp on the quality of anything here, and it's very convenient to use. Like, I can just throw this in my bag and not worry about it breaking or shattering, and I love how compact it is. It's like a very efficient use of space. So I'm a huge fan of the packaging and how they arranged it. Now, this is my setup here. As you can see, it looks a little disgusting, but I feel like this is how it's gonna look for most people after you use it for a while. It just like gets smudged all over the place. So that's how it is, but it's very fun. It's kind of like a little painter's palette, so it's very fun to have these different shades all together. Now, number two, the feeling of the general thoughts on the product and how I apply it. So I apply this with a brush. Now, I normally don't love brushes. I'm like a beauty blender for life type of person. But like I said, it's just so fun as a painter's palette to apply this, and it's very, very fast with a brush. I would say this is one of the fastest applying like full face makeup products that I have. So I love that about it. And then I apply with the brush, and then I just blend it out with a beauty blender, or this little flat sponge that I found to fit in the palette here, which I love. So I do that. I don't like applying it with my fingers. In general, I don't like to do things with my fingers because it just like feels gross to me. But it works fine that way. I did that right now with my full face. I'm wearing this like full face with my finger application because I forgot my brushes. And it's fine too. I just find that it's a little bit hard to blend some of the contour shades. Like if I try to contour with my finger, it does end up being like patchy and have fingerprints. So not like the biggest fan, but it works in a pinch. So that's how I apply it. And then I typically do some like very light powder in the middle where my T-zone is to try to lock it in. I find that for me, if I don't lock it in at all, it will just slide like literally right off so fast on my skin. So I do need a little bit of powder there. Now, in terms of what are my favorite things and what I like here, my number one thing is this highlighter shade. It is so beautiful, like the natural luminosity of the product and then the very small kind of like pearlescent color blend together beautifully. It's just such a natural glow to the face. Even my boyfriend commented on how like good and glowing my skin looked when I wore this. And I'm like, yep, it's all that highlighter. And then the other thing that I really love is this lightest bronzer shade. So I forgot the color, unfortunately, but it's a really, really nice color. Now, the one I struggle with is this darker contour in terms of getting it to blend. And then the other thing, I like how good of a shade match the lightest shade is. It is very neutral, and that works well for my skin. My skin is very neutral, not like too colorful, I guess, not too saturated. So this lightest shade works really well. The second lightest shade is a little bit too warm for me. All right, so now let's get to part three, which is how does it last and how does it look on oily skin over the course of the day? So for me, I would say that when I apply this at first, it already starts off the day very, very glowy. Now, I think a lot of people with oily skin probably feel the same way, where it's kind of like we're scared of seeing that glow because that is like seconds before it turns into just an oil spill. So for me, like I don't feel super comfortable just like leaving the house with that much glowiness. I like to apply some powder just around here. So I would say it's a little bit too shiny for me right off the bat for oily skin. Now, then in terms of how it lasts, it does not last long on me, unfortunately. Now, I really wanted this to work, and I felt like it might because the founder describes how it will like fade naturally and just look more and more like your skin throughout the day, rather than like kicking up like other foundations. And like I've definitely experienced other foundations caking up, so I wanted that to be the case, and I felt like it might work since this product is oil-based, just like the oil my skin is producing. But unfortunately, I have found that this cakes up just as much as other foundations. So if I look at myself at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I can see this layer of product, and I can also feel something very heavy on my face that's just like sticky to the touch. and transfers a lot. So if I were to touch my finger or my shirt, like it will leave a mark there. And even like glasses or some other thing, it will leave a mark very easily in my foundation so that you can see a patch is missing, which really makes me kind of like stressed out when I'm wearing this in terms of, oh, is there like a big patch somewhere on my face? So for me, this did not work. I would say I couldn't get it to last with primer, without primer, with a different base of primer, with powder, without powder. Like I tried all of the combinations and I couldn't really get it to last for me. I also tried it side to side with like this versus one of my go-to foundations on the other side of my face. So like one on each side. So I tried it with Revlon Color Stay, Estee Lauder Double Wear, and Misha BB Cream. And like against all of them, my just like go-to liquid foundations looked a lot better. So I was really sad. This didn't work for me at all. I don't feel comfortable wearing this out and about. The times that I end up using this nowadays is really just for like if I need to hop on a Zoom call, which is quite a bit, and I have 5 minutes to get ready, and then I'm only gonna need to wear the makeup for the duration of the Zoom call or the meeting. Like that's perfectly fine for me because it applies so fast and so easy. So if I don't need it to last, then it's kind of fine. So yeah, overall, I would say I'm very excited about the direction this product is going. Like all-in-one palettes, indie makeup brands, amazing innovative packaging like this. I love it. So if the brand comes out with another maybe kind of solution for specifically super oily skin, I will try it again because I just really like the idea behind this. But personally for me, like if you're on a budget and you're wondering like, is this gonna really work well for oily skin? Like I personally wouldn't recommend it. So that's it. That's my review. Hope that was helpful to some of you out there, and let me know if you have oily skin, if you had a different experience, if you had the same experience. I'd love to hear if there's any other oily skin people out there that have also tried this out. All right, thanks for watching and see you later.